welcome to the next episode of our Dream to Rise podcast, and we have our special guest who's a doctor, and I'm truly we were able to meet before in a podcast interview as well, and we are here to really collaborate after connecting, collaborate, and see how we can support each other. And she is a distinguished leader in healthcare, analytics, and operational excellence, recognized for driving innovation in healthcare, drug development, and equitable healthcare access. As a senior executive at the Healthcare Research Organization, she leads strategic initiatives that enhance real-world evidence generation, ensuring high-quality, data-driven insights for pharmaceutical, biotech, and healthcare organizations. Her groundbreaking contributions have earned her numerous accolades, including the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award last 2023, wow, and the PMSA Lifetime Achievement Award 2024. Another wow. With nearly two decades of experience, she specializes in healthcare data quality validation and analytics, empowering organizations to make informed, patient-centric decisions. A sought-after speaker, she frequently presents at premier conferences within the healthcare industry, contributes to academic publications, and engages in podcasts and live streams. She's passionate about mentorship. She actively supports aspiring data analysts, particularly women pursuing leadership roles in healthcare and technology. Her advocacy for women in healthcare leadership has earned her recognition as a rising star and luminary by the Healthcare Business Women Association and honors as a top 25 technology leader in Philadelphia, and top 25 women in biotechnology. She founded the Kleczyk-Strout Foundation, which champions educational healthcare initiatives. And her professional achievements serves on multiple boards, including Community Cancer Council for Northern Light Health Network and the Sisterhood Extravaganza Advisory Board. Originally from Wrocław, Poland, she holds a doctorate degree from Virginia Tech and currently resides in Lansdale, Pennsylvania, with her husband. Without further ado, let us welcome Dr. Ewa. Is that Ewa? Ewa J. Kleczyk. Welcome to Dr. Kleczyk.
Well, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
What a long introduction, but hats off to you, my dear.
Well, thank you very much, Cynthia. It's been such an honor to be here and speaking to yourself and your audience. I'm going to correct you on my name a little bit, but that's okay.
Okay, sorry.
It's very much written in Polish language. So my name is Ewa. The W is V. It's in Polish. That's how you say it. And my last name is Kleczyk. So it's such a pleasure being here, and I thank you for the invitation. I'm so glad that we were able to connect last fall and plan for this session right now. So I look forward to sharing my story, and I would love to start even whenever you're ready.
Okay. So how should I address you, Dr. Ewa or Dr. Kleczyk?
You can call me Dr. Ewa, it's fine. It's perfect.
Dr. Ewa. Okay, so that it's a lot easier.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, let us start. So, can you tell us something about yourself that brought you to where you are right now?
Absolutely. So I came here as an exchange student in high school. So I was 17 years old, and I matched with an exchange program that I wanted to be in the United States. I was able to come here and I landed in a little town called Belfast, Maine, and that's how my story started. So I was in my senior year and lived with an American family and attended a local high school from which then I graduated with a high school degree. So that's how I landed here.
Mhm. So you usually the exchange student is they have someone from your family where you stayed going to your place in Poland. Is that the case?
No, in this case, it's one way. So you are,
One way.
yeah, it's one way. So the exchange program is, it's that European students going to the United States. So this was European organization matching with an American organization. My cohort was from my country, from Poland. There were, I think, 10 of us for the year that came in, and we were sent all over the United States. Because I have family in the southern part of Connecticut, I chose to be in New England, not knowing that New England includes Maine. So I ended up all the way up north in Belfast, Maine, and spent my year there. And ultimately, that started my journey in the United States, with Maine being a big part of my life then as well as right now.
Okay. So when you moved here as an exchange student, did you go back to finalize or formalize all the procedure, the paperwork, or you just stayed here and then processed everything here?
Great question. So I did go, so I did get acceptance when I was in high school. I was able to get a scholarship at the University of Maine in Orono. And after completing my high school degree, I did go back to Poland for the summer, and then with the cohort started at University of Maine on a new visa. There are differences in visas.
Okay.
Some of them are school, college is F1, and I think they have multiple ones for exchange programs depending on the rules and so forth. So in my case, I was able to go to school immediately after completing my exchange program. Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. But at least you were able to visit your family before
That's correct.
the next school year, no?
That is correct. I was able to go back to Poland, see my family for the summer, then come back and start my education at the University of Maine.
So what was also one of the major reasons, because I know because of education, no? Any other reason why you have made that decision to just move here?
Well, I think we all know that the United States is known for the best colleges. Higher education is very well known. And at the time when I was a college student, Poland was starting to become a capitalistic country, and many people, everyone wanted to make sure that everyone strived for education outside of Poland as well, to make sure that they can better themselves. So I was one of them. I was very fortunate to be selected to the program and have the opportunity to come and study in the United States, and ultimately be able to stay at the and study at the University of Maine in Orono. And I think this is many students coming from Eastern Bloc at the time. It was the Eastern Bloc of Europe, or any other countries, definitely have that experience where you wanted to take that opportunity, not only to educate yourself, but also fulfill your dreams and challenge yourself. Coming in and living with an American family like I did in high school, not a small thing, right? You are abandoning pretty much your whole family, everything you know, and you pack up into suitcases and you move across the ocean, and you live with people that you do not know who they are when you move with them. That's a big thing. Afterwards, going to college and becoming part of the community, it's also for some students, those coming from different backgrounds that America might be representing, can be quite challenging. So there is a lot of different benefits, but there is also a lot of challenges that many students, international students, experience as they either come as exchange students or ultimately study at American schools and colleges.
I would like to ask, Was it your decision or were you influenced by your parents to move here?
Oh, it's always, so it was my mother who found this program. So she knew that I was always very brave, and many things didn't scare me. So she found this program and started reading about students going to the United States, but also there was a lot of au pair programs, which are still continuing to these days. So at first we considered au pair program after high school for me, but when the other program came in, my mother said, you should go and apply for this. And part of the application was taking appropriate English tests to ensure that I could speak and understand enough English to be admitted to an American high school. For those of you who do not know, it is being fluent in the languages. It is very important, and most students come in at the college, especially at the graduate level. When you are younger in high school, it's as important, but many students don't qualify because their English is not up to par to allow them to be in an American school system.
So when your mom influenced you or recommended this, was it also your interest? Was that also your dream?
It was. I think you are somewhat influenced, but you also you have those discussions why you want to do these. And I'm a very driven person. I want to challenge myself. And I didn't really fear anything. There wasn't really any fear that I was experiencing. I was excited that I would be able to go and try living in a different country, going to school there and see what I can do. I did not expect that I would stay that many years as I have been here, but it's been a journey. I took my opportunity, and I think that's what I want to tell to everyone. I didn't know where I'm going to end up, right? I didn't know whether it's going to be even a good thing. Some students don't have a good experience. I had a wonderful American family who loved me and took me in like I was their own. So my experience was nothing but wonderful. I mean, clearly with challenges as like homesickness and so forth and cultural shock, but it was a great experience. And I think the one thing that I always say to people, sometimes you do not know what's going to be behind the door, but open the door anyway, because sometimes going blindly, it's the best thing you can do. Taking opportunities, if you don't take them, you do not know what you missed. If you take them, whether they work out or not, it's a learning, and it allows you to also shape yourself into what you want to become. Not everyone wants to. I know people who were exchange students and they chose to come back to Poland, and that's perfectly fine. Any country is not for everyone, right? So you can make your own decision after you experience the culture and meet the people and live here. And I think everyone should be trying different things and deciding what it is for them that they want to do.
Wonderful. And absolutely, that's very true. And I just want to share also, when I moved to the United States, I took the risk also, and I also had a family. So I had to uproot them and then move them to a new country, a new environment, and we don't know where we're going. But of course, I did my research as well. I tried my luck applying at the World Bank, and I didn't know that even my mom, she was against the plan because she knows, because of their experience, they had a lot of challenges getting a job, trying to find a daycare for her grandson. So I told her, you know what? If this is God's plan for me, He will solve all my problems along the way. And He did. He was able to, what's this? My supervisor approved my 3-month leave. So that's one thing. And no one would approve a 3-month leave, right? And then another one, who will take care of your children because they're only 8 and 2.5 years old. Suddenly, there were a G4 visa holders for international employees can hire a G5, who is a nanny or a helper. So that's those are the things that I would like to share also with the listeners, that yes, you have this plan, take that risk, but try to connect also. I really prayed so hard. Lord, is this really your plan for me? Because, or else there are a lot of people contradicting my plans, but I just want to see if this is really, and your intuition really helps you.
Mhm.
And that gut feel, that inner voice is a big help, was a big help for me. So see, so your challenges, you mentioned about your challenges, the homesickness. What
Mhm.
other challenges have you experienced when you were
Oh, great question. Besides the homesickness, when you come into a new country, whether you think that you know the language or not, you are learning the language as you are going. And Maine has a very distinct accent, and the down east coast Maine has even more distinct accent. So learning how individuals were speaking, this wasn't a book English in the book type of conversation. It was very different, and I think that was one of the things. I had a teacher who the entire year I didn't understand. I couldn't understand what he was saying. So he realized it very quickly that I had no clue what he was saying. And he always after classes met with me and gave me what I needed to read, and he adapted the style for the learning that I required, which I think it was very good, right? It was very, he realized the challenge that I was having. It wasn't because I couldn't assimilate the program, it was mostly that I couldn't understand what he was saying. And I think learning, having someone also who's very kind to you can help and understands that sometimes there are different barriers that is very difficult to move. The other piece is making friends. Those of you who've been traveling, those of you listeners who've been traveling in their army brats or moving continuously between different places and living in different places, going in last year of high school and trying to find friends, very difficult. Many of the individuals there have been in school together since they were 5 years old. And here I was coming in, totally not known. Now I had to make some friends. The good part for me was that I had a host sister my age. So we both were seniors in high school. So she introduced me to a lot of friends, but that novelty quickly removes itself, right? It dies down. So then it was up to me to make friends. And at the beginning, it was much harder to, again, create a group of friends that you feel good with, that you can connect with, and who can take you the way you are. So it was definitely one of the challenges. So for those of you who are listening, if you are here in the United States and feel like you are alone, please know that this is not you are not alone, first of all. But second of all, it takes time to find a right group of friends. It's like with everything, don't give up and continuously try. And at the end, many of the people that I met in high school in Maine, many of us went to University of Maine, so had friendly faces there. So it started becoming much better. And then creating your own circle, when you already have a group of friends that you know, you always have someone else, it makes it much easier. There was definitely that part was one of the hardest parts. And the other piece I would say is when you're coming from a country that is lower income than the country you're entering, the income disparity shows up very quickly. I did babysitting. I try to make sure that my host family gave me shelter and food and supported me the way they did. But I couldn't also go out, for example, and pay for many things that most American kids would because I didn't have the money. So it also made you realize and try to figure out how do you fit in, or how do you make yourself feel better when you cannot afford the clothing that people have, when you cannot go out or you cannot pay for certain trips. How do you fit in and ultimately survive in this? And I'm saying this because I'm sure there are some listeners who are struggling with it right now, that they don't have the newest pants or newest jeans or shoes or newest bag. It's okay. I know that sometimes that's our way of fitting into groups, but it's not the thing that defines you. And I think accepting that and knowing that that's not for me right now, I think is the right way of thinking. And also knowing that others experience that as well. And very often feel the same way, that they don't fit because of their income disparities or inability to live at the same level as others do.
Yes, that's another thing, no? We try moving to another country, it's like we want to belong. To belong is you try to, as what you've mentioned, fit in, do what they do, wear what they wear, and then so that's a challenge. I agree with you, but it comes with being honest with yourself, being authentic, and that's how you are accepted by other people. Was there a challenge in terms of the cultural differences?
It was more so. Eastern Europeans are very reserved. As they say that our smile looks about the same as our frown, meaning we always look very even and very stoic, and we, unless we become good friends with you, we are not gonna do a small talk. We are not the best at small talk. Americans always smile, they shake hands, they're very welcoming from the beginning. Eastern Europeans, they are very, very welcoming once you get to their house and they host you. But on the street, it's a very different. People are much colder. And I think learning that, and to be honest, I always have to remember, I am very much transactional when it comes to certain things, meaning I don't talk small talk. Someone once told me, well, you can talk about the weather. And I said, they can look through the window and see that it's raining. And they, and they said, wow, what if they live in California and it's sunny over there? And, and that was, well, it was what they will say, simple example. It made me realize how many Americans make connections, which Polish people didn't necessarily. So Polish people made it very differently. You were, once you were accepted into the circle, that's when being at people's homes or going out with them, you become part of them. But the small talk, no one really has a small talk. Everything is very serious and fun at the same time, but it's a little bit deeper. The other piece with that is, because Americans are so good with small talk, I sometimes felt that I couldn't get as deep with people as I knew my friends back home. So I think that cultural difference was a little bit bigger, where we knew about each other everything, and that was normal. Where I think here sometimes people know only what they allowed to know, but also many people don't ask you about deep things happening in your life. Not that they don't care. It's a different way of interacting, and it's with very few people that you get to a much deeper levels.
Yes, I agree. So, what would you say, or what would be the major thing that you did to overcome all these challenges? Is it the mindset? Is it what do you think?
Well, mindset is always, right? Always saying, try another day again, right? That's when you're having a hard time, saying to give up something today, it's not the right thing, because you want to try to go the next day. So when things were not very good for me, whether it was at school or even right now at work, right? I mean, or in your personal life, you always want to say, tomorrow will be better. How do I move forward? And I think for me as a student, if you think about it, I was 17 years old when I came in. You're still growing, you're still developing yourself. And usually you have parents who help you. I didn't have that, and I couldn't even call my parents that much because it costed so much money. So you had to grow up very, very quickly, but it also presented to me that I had to take care of myself. I was now an adult. Not only did I need to figure out how I'm gonna buy food, especially once I went to college, pay for school, get my clothing, get my apartment. It put me in a very different life that many kids who are from the United States, they don't have that because they have parents close by. Always saying, today is bad, tomorrow will be better. I think that helped me. And I think it's the strength of your, I guess your personality and your mental strength that helps you move forward.
Yeah.
For me, it was always, I knew what I wanted. I wanted to get a PhD. Well, if I knew what I wanted, not every day is going to be great, right? So I always reminded myself, today I struggle, that doesn't define me, and tomorrow will be better. So that's one. Sometimes a while back, someone told me, cry today, wake up tomorrow with a new bright vision. Because especially women, for those of you who are women listening, women digest information or process information very differently than men do. Women are much more emotionally attached to, they are feeling way more. So, excuse me. So saying cry tomorrow, cry tonight, meaning allow yourself to mourn, allow yourself to feel what you are feeling. Sometimes it's going to be frustration, anger, disappointment, simply being sad, feeling sad. Feel it, understand it, why you're feeling this, and the next morning wake up and not wiping out anything that you just felt, but saying today is going to be better and starting with the new perspective. Because every day, well, this is a cliche, every day we have a choice of how we approach the day, right? This is all on us.
Yes, very true.
If we don't wake up with the mantra of, I'm going to change what I did yesterday and it's going to be better, we're going to be still in the same cycle. And I think this is all on us, or maybe even allowing yourself, what I always say, maybe it's not changing 100%, maybe it's changing just 1%, but as long as you're, excuse me, continuously moving, I have this cough that I had for a while. You move forward and you ultimately, you see the change happening and you see the outcomes. And for me was, I need to finish high school, get education, get master's degree, and go to PhD program. That was my whole pathway, and that was my goals that I needed to fill in at the time.
Yeah, very wonderful. So now you're doing what you're doing now, helping other people, despite all the challenges you have experienced. How do you feel right now?
I love what I'm doing. So first of all, I want to say being in the healthcare analytics arena is very inspiring. I think we all have had either our own health experiences or someone in our family has had health issues. So being in a position where you can directly or indirectly impact healthcare, the ability for others to be treated, I think is very important. So while the journey was very long, and to be honest, it's every day, there's always some kind of challenge. So I'm not going to say that it's not, it's always. And I think we all have to remember that every day there will be something else we have to deal with. But as long as you remember the higher goal for why you are here, I think that really helps, or what is really important to you, whether it's your family, whether it's your job, whether it's some other bigger calling that you have. I think understanding that, I think that really helps in managing day-to-day activities.
Absolutely. And that calling is now you're living your purpose. And that's the main thing that keeps us on fire to move forward and be motivated to do more for others, right? So, what are your goals for the next 12 months?
I want to continue inspiring women. Tomorrow is going to be the International Women's Day, and we are in the International Women's Month. Overall, in my legacy, I would like to leave the legacy that I helped, especially women, but men as well, be inspired to pursue their calling, but be inspired to pursue their calling, whatever that might be, but also not be afraid of the challenges. Don't take the easy pathway, because you can, the moment you challenge yourself, the pathway becomes much more clear, and you can achieve way more. The second, so for me, continue with that. I am involved in several boards for either education or healthcare organizations, so charitable organizations. So continue working with them, understanding the needs, aiding my experience with data and healthcare research into how we can improve, how we can help these organizations help patients, help bring educational access to those who might not have it. As we all know, right now, many schools have lost a lot of funding. So there's going to be a big need for individuals who can help schools to make sure that the students who are losing or might not be able to go to school because their graduate assistantships will be taken away, that we can come in and support that. So knowing the challenges that we're going to be having or thinking about it, how I can get involved is really, that's what inspires me right now to help driving this. Because without education, without our young people getting the needed education, not only that we are not moving the science and creating an educated workforce, but that's going to put a lot of strain on the economy in the future.
Mhm.
So I think those of us who cherish education or can help in any way, I think it's very important for us to do that. The same would be on the healthcare side. I think there's still a lot of disparity how different parts of the country treat healthcare or what is the access to care. So how can we help them? And for me, getting involved in couple of the charitable healthcare boards is really to help create the access for the patients that don't have the ability to do that. So how can we raise the money? How can we increase the awareness? And where can we go next?
Okay, wonderful, wonderful goals. So what do you think would be the major roadblock in achieving those goals?
Major role, I think just stay upfront, understand where we are headed. The industry is changing, technology is changing. How can you think of the newest ways to apply the technology, but also apply your connections and think about it, how my experience can help those that need the help right now. So can I go and do a presentation about to the schools? Can I figure out who are the individuals who can help with providing the support? Are there any other places where we can increase the awareness of for patients where the resources are, or understanding the quality of life and what is needed in order to have the right quality of life? So I think that's where I see that me coming in, it's gonna be important. And to be honest, doing these podcasts, getting on other platforms, because people need to be aware. Very often when I talk about healthcare access, the question I get, I want to be in healthcare, but I don't know how to get in there. I am sick, but I do not know how to find the right physician. So I think the awareness and democratizing the knowledge, I think is extremely important, especially in the place where we might not, where there is a financial support needed, or resources are needed in order to ensure that others who might not have the right resources can get the access whenever it's necessary.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what would be, before we end, what would be your last, the simple advice to our listeners?
So my simple advice would be, first of all, I heard somewhere or read somewhere that our thoughts come in and an action creates, and it's 5-second rule before that action disappears and now doubt comes in. So my biggest advice is, when that 5 seconds starts, take that action, because that door might be the door that's gonna change your life. So first, the moment you think about something, and your intuition tells you take it, don't wait beyond the 5 seconds. Take it, do it. Because as someone who, this was a psychology study, I guess, they said that the moment the 5 second comes in, the enough doubt that is coming in precludes from taking the action. Not that it will not be taken, but it may take longer.
Yeah.
You might not take it, or you may actually miss the opportunity. So I would say is, don't miss the opportunity. Within the 5 seconds, try to open the door and see what is there. The second thing is, I would say is, always think long term, always think long goals. Life is a marathon, and it's not a sprint. There will be plenty of sprints in our lives where we are running for this or this or this. Always know what's your final goal. What are you going to be at the end? Whether it's your children, whether it's your work, your legacy, or whatever that might be, always have that in mind. What is your calling? What is important to you? And go forward. And the final one, I would say is, don't compare yourself to anyone else. Your story it's your story. You mentioned that fitting in is being authentic. We have to admit that that's what it is, but also authenticity comes in when we allow and we are vulnerable enough to present ourselves the way we are. I know that I'm not perfect, but this is the way I am. And I realize that some people will not like it, some people will love it, and others will be somewhere in the middle. And there will be some opportunities that I will not get because of the way I am. But as long as you're authentic, they come through you. And I think that's when the engagement comes in. And quite frankly, more opportunities come your way because you are yourself and you are presenting exactly who you are without masking your personality and your being. And the final one I would say is perseverance. Don't give up. Don't give up. Challenges will happen. If you need to cry, cry to bed, cry into the pillow, and wake up the next morning and say, okay, I am in my first mile of marathon. Today I'll do the mile number 2 and just keep moving. Because quite frankly, sometimes surviving a day feels like a big accomplishment. And I want to applaud those who are feeling potentially that surviving a day, it's an accomplishment, because it is. I think many times we all feel like it's so good that the day ended and we are glad that we are still here. And we are glad that we are waking up the next morning. And I would say, so always remember, the sun will rise, everything will be figured out, and it's really up to us how we use the time we have it on this planet, I guess.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners have gained so much from all your insights, from your story. And hopefully they'll be inspired to and be empowered to do the same. Fear will always be with us, limiting beliefs, sabotaging ourselves. But hey, if you don't move forward outside your comfort zone, opportunities will not show up. Opportunities are actually at the borderline of your comfort zone. So take action. And that's the main thing. Take action. Yes, you have created a dream, but are you taking action? Nothing will happen if you don't take that uncomfortable action. So thank you so much, Dr. Eva, for this wonderful session. And it was a great honor to have you.
Thank you very much. I truly appreciate for being here, Cynthia. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you to the audience. Hopefully you gained some insights and enjoy the chat. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And I'm sure your message will be welcomed by other people, especially those who are still struggling and still stuck. Okay, thank you. And for our listeners, we tune in for the next episode. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Thank you.